Hello, grade 12s. It's Thursday, and I hope you guys are having a good week. I'm in Fort Francis, and I'm thinking about you guys a lot, so I'm sure. Um, what I'd like to do today is give you a new assignment. And what this is, it's a typography assignment. And why am I giving this to you? Because say if you were applying to schools like say Sheridan College, they ask for projects like this in your portfolio. So this is exactly why I'm giving you this, because it is gearing you directly towards acceptance into post-secondary. Typography is a big thing about working as a designer, and if you're good at type, then you will be good as a designer. So what I'd like you to do, your assignment, and I'm not going to give you the actual assignment today because I have to teach you more about Illustrator, which is the program that you're going to be doing it in. So I'm just kind of showing you this and then explaining the method behind my madness of the exercises that I'm going to give you. Okay. I'm going to give you a typographical phrase. You guys can think about it in the meantime, which one you want to do. And basically, you're going to have the essence of the phrase. You're going to express it through type, and you're kind of expressing it visually as well as just through type. So, like for example, this one, the rules. It's on graph paper, and then they break them, and it looks very artsy. This is another decent one. Have faith and a burning desire to just keep on going no matter what happens. It's Illustrator, like say, notice the words burning and desire have very two types of flavors to them. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do in your phrase, and just kind of isolate the different words and express them visually to kind of match the flavor. Okay, decent ones, not as good as like say this or this, but there's a couple other decent examples. Like this one is kind of neat. It's less through typography and more through illustrations, but it's still not bad. It's kind of getting the idea. My favorite is probably these two here. I'm going to show you some student examples as well, some good ones and some not so good ones. Let's see. So these are rated 5 through 10. I dropped the ones that were below 5. Good one, probably an excellent one from last year. This girl went on to graphic design at Fanshawe. So it's a decent one. She did a fairly good job on it. Let's show you some not so good ones. Let's see. Well, this is a 9 out of 10. Okay, the girl did. The plan is to fan its spark into a flame, so you can see how she was trying to express it there. Let's see. Dance like there's nobody watching, love like you've never been hurt, sing like nobody's listening, and live like it's heaven on earth. You can see how she tried to express the words sing and hurt and love and dance, and it all gets tied in with the other scripty font. Not bad. That's actually, that's a 9 out of 10. Maybe I've got 8 out of 10. Okay, not bad. Let's go. Oh yeah, okay. Number 6, off the mark. Like he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't really, and he was kind of being very artistic with his type, and he knows what he's doing, but he wasn't really doing what I was asking. All right, he's kind of off the mark there. Okay. If at first you don't succeed, try. I think he needs to try again. Okay. So you kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. So, but before we go there, I need to give you a very painful exercise in Illustrator, and it's the same exercise that you did in grade 10, for those of you who did take grade 10. In Illustrator, what you can do is like say if you just take your name, okay, and I were to blow that thing up, I can convert it to outlines, and you can just start manipulating type, okay, and so forth. You can also draw in Illustrator just by using this pen tool. Okay, the benefits of using Illustrator over things like Photoshop, because if you zoom in, no matter what, it's going to be perfect no matter what. You're working in vectors and not pixels. So what I need to do is, first off, an exercise just going to show you how to use the pen tool. Okay, why am I doing this? And why am I showing you how to use the pen tool? Because whenever kids go off to post-secondary, I ask them, what could I have done better? What could I have taught you better in order to better prepare you for post-secondary? And a couple of comments are, I wish you would have taught me the pen tool better. So here I am, I'm doing the same thing. So in Illustrator, you're going to go to the handout folder, me, grade 12 Comtech, and the Illustrator warm-up exercise. Here you've got, all I'm going to ask you to do is, using the pen tool, I'm going to ask you to just simply trace over these lines right here that are in blue. Okay, it's actually very easy to start out, but then gets a little bit more complicated as you go through. So let's begin. In order to do the straight lines, click your mouse over each node. So these are little anchor points that you just need to click your pen on, and then it will just draw this line. Okay, so I'm just going to go click, 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 click. And now you notice something that's going on here with the white here, that it's joining the two endpoints with a fill color. That is because my stroke color right now down here is black, and then if I click on white, my fill color is white. So that can actually get some problematic when you get down into here and you're trying to draw. So I probably recommend that for now, your fill color, if you click on the fill color and then you click this little no smoking symbol here, or the strike through, it's also up here. If I click on there, then your fill color disappears, and it'll just complicate things less for you. Okay, let's move over. Okay, now this is where things get tricky. If I click on the pen tool, I want to draw these curves. These curves are, you don't actually trace along then like what you might think. What you have to do is you have to create these anchors. I'm clicking and dragging, and according to this, I hold down the mouse button over each node and drag in the direction the line that I want to go in. So what that means is I'm just going to click and drag these handles, and these handles are directional handles that are steering the line in the direction that you want to go. So I'm going to drag it in that direction. So this handle is kind of just manipulating this curve in this direction. If I click here, then you see how more kind of handles appear. Now sometimes, all right, and then I'm going to click and drag. And click and drag. Now, let's zoom in. You can see it's not perfect. You can go in, you can fix it up, and I'm kind of purposely not doing it perfect. You can go and you can fix it up in a little bit. These handles, if I click on the solid direction tool here, or selection tool, if I click on here, it selects this thing as a unit. If I click on the white arrow tool, which is like in Illustrator they call it the direct selection tool, if I click on a portion of the line, it just selects that portion of the line. And you can see how these handles, they're called, are steering this line in that curve. If I were to and if I move this, it manipulates the curve. This handle is invisible. Okay, so let's just kind of just steer that like so. Okay, a lot of traps, the trap that people fall into when they are first doing this is that, and now I'll just go back on here, go back to my pen tool. I'm going to keep on going, keep on keeping on. I'm going to, oh, I got to get, there we go, and then just go back. A lot of the trap that people might fall into is that they might click here and think, oh, I have to create a new handle, so I'm going to drag in this direction. I'm going to drag left instead of right. You'll notice that if I click in the left direction, that it's actually creating handles on the right side over there. I can't point to it right now. The handle on the right side and steering the curve in the right direction. Don't do that. Okay, and drag to the left, drag to the right. Okay. This, for people who are not familiar with Illustrator, this can be quite a little painful exercise, but it is so well worth your while to know how to do this and using the pen tool. It really elevates what you can do in every program. There's the pen tool in Photoshop as well. There's a pen tool in Flash. There's the pen tool it's in After Effects. It's everywhere. So okay, so let's just continue on, and I'm just going to use the same principles. I'll fix that up and just draw a figure eight. I'm just scrolling down. There we go. Scrolling down. There we go. There we go. And scroll up. There we go. And up. And then I just want to join those two, so I click and I drag. Click and I drag in that direction there. Obviously, this one is way too far out. If you compare it to that one, just click on this guy and just bring that back in. Okay, not bad. Okay, so now corners. We got to make corners. Incidentally, if I hold down the space bar, the little hand thing, and I can use that to navigate around. Okay, so let's start with corners. I'm going to, it says here, hold down the Alt key while you drag your mouse in a new direction. What does that mean? Okay, so I'm just going to click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. So I need to make a corner. If I try to continue on, then obviously this handle is steering this line in this direction, and we can't do that. There's a couple of different ways that I can do it. I could, just the easiest way to do it is as I draw, I'll undo, I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and just like it says down there, drag my line in a new direction. So I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and I'm going to click and drag, and it makes a corner. I can drag it. It doesn't steer it straight. I can steer it in any direction. And then just click down there. Okay, so I want to make another corner. Alt and hold. I'm holding the Alt key while I do this, and it's making a corner. And then I've made a new handle steering the line in this direction. Click and drag. Click and drag. Now, if you forget, it's not the end of the world. Because what I can do is that after, let's say I just royally screwed this up and I'm left with this. Okay, so I can click on the white arrow tool or direct selection tool, and I can fix that up. That's no problem. But this is a bit of a problem here. The pen tool, if I click and hold down on the pen tool, you get more options. You've got this add, you can add points, delete point, don't worry about that just yet. But I can also click on the convert tool. The convert tool, so what I can do here is I can first select this line, click on the convert tool, and then I can just bend that any way I want. I can take that smooth curve and I can just bend it into nothing. And actually, if you had no handle, it would just be like a straight line. Okay, so let's go click on that again, select that again to get the handles, and then drag that into that direction. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let's do the flames real quick. I'm just going to click back on the pen tool and going to just... Now this will probably take you... Well, it's not perfect. Alt, make a corner, Alt, and drag in... Oops, I didn't do it right on the thing. Alt and drag into a new direction. This, I'm hoping, will take you the rest of this period, and I want you to hand it in for marks, please. There'll be a folder in the hand in folder. However, please don't right now. The problem is that you're working off of a file in the hand in folder. This is going to mess up because that line's too long. We'll fix that up later. You guys are working off of a folder in the hand in folder, and I did not ask you to save it to your My Documents. Please do a file and a save as and save this into your My Documents, okay? Because otherwise, it's not going. You're going to get an error. It's not going to let you save to the. It's not going to let you save to the handout folder because you don't have permissions to do that. You don't have administrative access to do that. All right, so let's move. Let's just do this. Now these aren't going to be perfect, but we can make them perfect after. Click and drag, click and drag. Holding down the Alt key to click and drag it. Oops, I didn't have it right on. Click and drag in an Alt key to click and drag in a new direction to make a nice sharp corner there. And then do this, okay? Go click on the white arrow tool and fix it up a little bit. All right, this obviously wasn't right. Put that there, that's a bit better. All right, that's a bit of a disaster. Well, let's do that so that's perfect. All right. All right. Now, people get a little frustrated with the pen tool. I've been doing this like, man, I'm going on like 25 years using the pen tool. So I kind of know what I'm doing with the pen tool. So don't be frustrated when you first use it. If you if you are done, I encourage you to experiment with the fill color. You can select your flame and you can select a color to fill it with. You'll notice that, like it did up here, if the two endpoints will kind of join each other with the fill color. So if I were to click on like a color, you'll see that that has joined those two end pieces, and that's okay. If I were to, you have some swatches of colors that you can use, okay? And if you wanted to be really fancy, you can use, there's the gradient tool there, and then this can be like another color too, okay? Something like that. And if you wanted to, you could get rid of, if there's my, you click on here to get access to the stroke color attributes, and then you can click no stroke even, and you get something a little fancy there, okay? And that's the basis of that. This, you think, hey, does this look a lot like Mr. Nalawako's sticker machine? Yeah, this is exactly how you would do the stickers in the sticker machine. I'm not sure, like, they use AutoCAD in there, but really, they always take the AutoCAD files and then they convert it to Illustrator, and then the cutting machine will cut it. Well, why don't you just work in Illustrator? Okay, so that's my 2 cents about that. So hand it in, save as, call it your name, and put it in the hand in folder, and that is good for today. Good luck.